Good morning, students, and welcome to a new week of distance learning. I'm excited to be here with you today, and I pray that you have a wonderful week this week. Hey, as we get started today, I want to bring one thing to your attention. As I wrote at the top of the board, it's test day today for math, and you know that when we have test day for math, that means our math page is just a fun page. So I have some review problems written on the board for you, and we're going to do these instead of our page together. And as a little reward for you, if you take the math test today only if you're ready, then you don't need to do the math paper for today. It's just for fun. But hey, if you're looking for something to do, sometimes my kids say, Mom, I'm bored. Well, if you're bored, then that would be a great thing for you to do. Okay, and on the back of your math paper for today is a fun little sheet that you can color. And it's some information on the front about the moon and everything. So I just want to remind you, if you're bored, there's something fun that you can do and as a way of review. Also, boys and girls, when you're taking the math test, I want to tell you it would be best if you had a piece of paper and a pencil right there with you so that you can rewrite the problems. We're not accustomed in class to taking our test on the computer like that, are we? That's something new that we've had to do because of the situation that we're in. And the answers for our math test are never right in front of you like they are now. So sometimes you might think, oh, I can do that in my head. And you might be able to. If you want to try it in your head, then try it in your head, but then you need to work it out on paper too to make sure that you're getting the best grade possible so we can really see how you're doing and if you're learning the concepts correctly. And it's a true picture of what your mind is actually able to do. Okay, so before you start that test, make sure you've got, it doesn't have to be, a piece of notebook paper. It could be just a piece of printer paper, but you need some sort of paper and pencil. And I always recommend pencil for math because you can erase that, okay? And then you'll be able to work those problems out. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. If you want to grab a piece of paper now or a notebook and you want to work these problems with me, that would be fantastic. You might even be faster than me. You could see if you could beat me and still get the right answer, okay? So we're going to start right here with number 1. You'll remember that last week we began with 2 digits times 2 digits and we had donuts and we were talking about donuts and how to do all that. So I have this fun little cute magnet. It's got 2 different colors on it. I'm going to use that to kind of cover up my 7 for right now because we don't need that right now, okay? So remember, we're going to start with the 2, and like I always told my students, we're going to be fair and share, okay? So number 2 is going to share with number 3 and number 4. So let's go ahead and multiply that now. 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times 4 is 8. All right, so we've taken care of that first step. Now I'm just going to move this over here because now we don't need the 2. But remember, before we begin, since we already did the ones place, we can put a donut there, okay? So I'm going to place a donut right there, and now I'm ready to move on. So now I'm going to use my 7. So 7 times 3 is 21. I have to carry my plus 2 at the top and write my 1. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 2 is 30. So I'm going to simply write 30 here. But I'm not finished. The next step, I need to add those 2 together. Okay, so 6 plus 0 is 6. 8 plus 1 is 9. 0, we can just bring that down, and 3. And now we need to add our comma to make our number correct. So we have 1, 2, 3, comma. That would be 3,096 is our answer for that one. How'd you do? Did you remember all those things we had to do? It's a lot to remember, but you're smart. You're almost in 4th grade, so I know you're able to handle that. All right, let's move over here to my number 2. If you want to get that written on your paper and do it with me, I'm going to hide this number 3 here. Look what they've done. They've given you an easy one on this one. It's just 0, okay? 0 is going to share with 3 and 7. We know that anything times 0 is 0. So we can just write our zeros there. I like those easy ones like that. All right, let's move our donut over here. And let's not forget to write our donut here in the ones place because we already did the ones place. Now we're ready for the tens, okay? So 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 7 is 21. What is our next step? We have to add those 2 together. So I'm going to put my addition sign, draw my line. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 9 is 9. Just bring down my 1. Bring down my 2, 1, 2, 3, comma, and my answer is 2,190. Hope you did well on that one as well. Hey, I just want to say, when we carry, boys and girls, like this, always write +2, because sometimes your mind can get into that multiplication mode, and I've had students multiply that number that they carried on accident because that's the way their mind is going. But if you write that little plus, that tells you, oh, I'm supposed to add this one. So that might be a help for you, especially on your test. All right, let's look over here at my number 3. We are dividing 856 divided by 6. Let's remember our 5 steps of division. We have divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. Those are so important. You just go through those steps each time. You'll do just great. So how many times will 6 divide into 8? Or what times 6 will give me 8 or get me close? And that would be 1. So I'm going to place my 1 there. Next, I need to multiply. 1 times 6 is 6. Next, I'm going to subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. All right, now my next step is to compare. Is 2 less than 6? It is. So then I can bring down my 5. Now I'm asking how many times 6 will divide into 25, or what times 6 will get me close to 25. Remember, we can't go over, so that would be 4. So I'm going to place my 4 here, and I'm going to go through my steps. 4 times 6 is 24. 25 minus 24 is 1. Is 1 less than 6? It is. Then I can bring down. Okay, now I need to know how many times 6 will divide into 16. So what times 6 gets me close to 16? That would be 2. So let me place my 2 here and go through my steps. 2 times 6 is 12. 16 minus 12 is 4. Is 4 less than 6? It is. I have nothing else to bring down, so I'm finished. And you'll remember that we have been learning how to write our remainders as fractions, okay? So we take our remainder, which is 4, and write it out over our divisor because it's our denominator, okay? So then that would be 6. So then my answer is 142 4/6. All right, let's take a look way back over here at number 4. We were learning how to average numbers. There's a few steps that we have to do for this one, but they're all things that you've done before, so it's no big deal. Step 1, we need to add, okay? Add starts with A. We need to remember that's first, so we're just going to add these numbers together, all right? So 4 plus 7 is 11, plus 6 is 17, okay? 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 7 is 16. I've done step 1, I've added. The next thing I need to do is count. Count starts with a C, it comes after A, we add, now we count, okay? So how many numbers do I have? 1, 2, 3, okay? Next I need to divide. Divide starts with a D, so I go A, C, D, add, count, divide, okay? So I have 3 numbers divided into 167. Let's think about our 5 steps of division. Okay, so we have divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. All right, can 3 divide into 1? We'd have to put a 0, but remember, as we get closer to 4th grade, we don't need to write that 0. We go to the next number. So 3 divided into 16. What times 3 gets me close to 16 without pushing me over? That would be a 5. So I place my 5 here. 5 times 3 is 15. Next, I have 16 minus 15, which would give me 1. Is 1 less than 3? It is, so I can bring down my 7. Now, how many times will 3 divide into 17? What times 3 gets me close to 17 without pushing me over? It's 5 again. So let's place a 5 there. 5 times 3 is 15. 17 minus 15 is 2. We still have to compare to make sure we're okay with our answer. So is 2 less than 3? It is. Remember, we're writing our remainder. We have been writing it as a fraction, but on averaging, boys and girls, you can just leave it just like this. It's perfectly fine, and just circle that answer up top, okay? All right, let's take a look here at number 5. This is where we're adding numbers with fraction. These are mixed numbers because we have a whole number and we have a fraction, okay? So let's do our whole numbers first. We're adding, okay? Sometimes they try to trick you with that, but we are adding on this one. So let's just start here and work our way down. Start in the ones column. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 8 is 23. So I do my plus 2 here and my 3 down here. 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 1 is 12. All right, so that's finished there. But now we need to look at our fractions. Notice that they all have the same denominator. So the denominator is going to stay the same. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write my denominator. I don't have to worry about that anymore because it's all the same. But I do need to add my numerators. So 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. So my answer to this one is 123 7/9. Okay, and my last problem for us today is this one here, which is subtracting our mixed numbers here. We have our whole number and then our fraction here. So let's just not worry about our fractions yet. Let's just start with our subtraction, okay? Can I do 2 minus 8? I cannot. I've got to borrow from the 7. He becomes a 6, and I place a 1 in front of the 2. 12 minus 8, 4. 6 minus 5, 1. 9 minus 5 is 4. Now, notice over here my denominators are still the same, so it gets to just stay the same. So let's go ahead and write that down. All right, but we do need to subtract our numerators. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So the answer to this one is 414 3/11. Don't forget, it's test day. Make sure you have that pencil and paper ready to go when you're ready to take the test. You don't have to take it today, but if you are ready, make sure you're prepared when you get started. Have a wonderful day.